Welcome to Sober and Lit,
the podcast for women who want to get sober, stay sober, and live a life that's way more lit than it ever was with wine.
We're your hosts, Ruby and Susan, two alcohol freedom coaches keeping it real with stories, tools, and zero judgment.
Whether you're sober curious or all in, you're in the right place.
Let's feel lit, alcohol free. Okay, listeners, welcome back to the Sober and Lit podcast. Well, it's tinsel time and trays of champagne and awkward small talk. Yep. It's the holiday party season. It's happening. And if you've just recently changed your relationship with alcohol, or you're thinking about it, or you're like exploring sobriety, you might be wondering, well, how do I show up at my holiday parties or my work holiday parties and not feel like that weirdo in the corner just sipping seltzer? You know, we have been there, Susan and I. In today's episode, this is what we're going to talk about. We are going to talk about social pressures, awkwardness, that sneaky wine thought that might come in. And we're going to give you tips and tools and tricks to like stay grounded and confident and actually maybe, hopefully have so much more fun at your company holiday party or your holiday parties. Susan, like what was your first alcohol-free party like? What surprised you? Yeah.
Well, mine is kind of a funny story. I had a holiday party for Yale School of Medicine, and it was at the Peabody Museum. It was in this gorgeous room with those rocks that are like gemstones. They're all these beautiful colors. And I had brought a little vinegar-based tincture. And so I brought one in my purse, and I was going to add it to my seltzer water just to kind of liven it up, right? So I'm at this little high top round table pouring it into my seltzer. And so this woman is like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh my gosh. And at that point, I was confident enough to kind of talk about it. I go, oh, I'm not drinking right now, but I add these to the seltzer because it makes it kind of taste better. And so I was able to have that kind of conversation with her about it. It's like, here I am adding like non-alcoholic stuff to my drink to make it taste better because they didn't have really any non-alcoholic options except water or seltzer. So that was just a weird story about my holiday party, but it can be very stressful and tricky because, like you said, trays of champagne that are right there as you walk in, and they expect you to like just take one, right? You know, at the door. And that can be really hard and tricky. And I think the best suggestion I always have is just go to the bar and get yourself your non-alcoholic drink right away. Keep it in your hand. And if this is your first time, you can order something like a sparkling water with cranberry and with a lime, and it looks like a Cape Cod or whatever. And so people probably aren't really going to question it. It depends on, you know, how boozy of a culture it is, but that's my biggest tip is just get a drink in your hand and keep it in your hand at all times. And then no one's going to ask you if you want a drink.
That's an excellent tip. Yeah. Oh, so good. So good. You talked about boozy culture, and I'm going to tell a couple stories because this was, oh my gosh, I could tell lots of stories, but like one, working for Corbel Champagne, you know, this is a large company, hundreds of people, right? So it's a big work party, a Christmas party or holiday party. And it was a free-for-all, and people got really, really drunk, just over the top. And then at one point, it was interesting. All of a sudden, I think it was like this, like, I think it's the same time that, you know, drink responsibly, like it all kind of this kind of legal stuff started happening. So then they started giving drink ticket at the party, and you could have 2 drink tickets, I think it was. But, you know, there was always people that were giving away their drinks. So I'd have like, you know, 10 drink tickets or something. But just, it got pretty scary because it's a free-for-all. People would drink so much at these things when there wasn't the drink tickets. It got slightly better. But then another work party story is a small intimate. I was in another work team that was about 20 people, and I had to kind of be a little more forward with it. And I had to say, yeah, I'm not drinking. But everybody was drinking. So it did feel a little awkward at times. This was my first time doing it. I wanted to be under the radar. And that's all they had though, was like alcohol. They had beer and wine and champagne. And I think I was able to just drink water, but I really stuck out and it was hard. So what was surprising was that I didn't prepare enough. So that's why we're doing this episode to help you have more confidence. I had a lot of FOMO, which is the fear of missing out. I had a lot of, this was so fresh to me. I didn't know what I was doing and I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to say I'm alcohol free or I have a problem. I didn't want to say that. So I think I kind of faked it at the time. And so I didn't have the tools. I wasn't a coach yet. I didn't have all the tools and tips yet. And so I'm just so glad you're listening to this episode so that we're going to give you we're going to give you confidence and hopefully ways to help. But yeah, is there any, so tell me more about some things that make you feel grounded. Like if you get that kind of, cravings. Did you get that, Susan?
When I coach people, and they start to feel that FOMO, I suggest that they go to the bathroom and just take a time out and do some breathing exercises, get your brain back on because you're probably dysregulated. So try to do some breathing. So you're aware, I'm having this thought that, I'm feeling left out or I'm anxious and feeling awkward. Go to the bathroom, just take a moment. So you have the awareness, then breathe. So I call it ABC, awareness. Okay, I'm having awareness. Go to the bathroom, take yourself out, breathe, use some breathing exercises, which I teach in my coaching, to regulate your nervous system. And then see what is really going on. Can you do a thought turnaround? Can you see, is this really true? Can you ask your thoughts, is this really true? And then make your choice. And you have choices. You can leave. You can, maybe you just feel better and you're like, yeah, I'm ready to go back out there, but just giving yourself a little time out to take care of yourself in those moments when you feel that coming on. And for myself too, I don't know if I've shared around my husband's 60th birthday party. I had to go to my bedroom and sit there and do some tapping. Like I was feeling very anxious and overwhelmed and I was aware of that. So I took myself out, did some tapping, which is another nervous system regulation tool, and got myself back into regulation and then was back out there and, and I had non-alcoholic options and such at my own party. And sometimes you can bring things too, which is a little bit of a twist on the old purse wine. The old is bring your own. I did at a wedding one time they have a lot of places now are doing little mini bottles, which are so cute. At that time, it was a Prima Pave little mini bottle of sparkling and you can fit them in your purse. And I just brought it up to the bartender and said, would you put this in a champagne glass for me? And they were happy to do that. So you can, bring your own.
That's really good. I do something similar. It's like when I start to feel that craving or that urge, and it could be just seeing, the wine. Or one time my aunt at one party asked me to open the wine bottle. And I was just, cause she said her hand was hurt or something. And she just handed me the wine bottle. Will you open this? And I did it, but I felt a little dysregulated after that. It just like my brain kind of, how you have neural pathways and that act of me twisting that, opening a bottle, hearing that, I was trying to stay out of that room, right? The wine or alcohol area. But I was going to help my aunt, of course. But then I went outside. I also would go to the restroom like you suggested, or go outside. Just go outside. If you're at a work party or a holiday party, just go out on the front porch or go outside if it's at a hotel, a big venue, I don't know, and just take some breaths. Yeah, breath work for me is always my go-to. But if you can't, say you're, I don't know, not that you can't, but say you're stuck at a table or something. I love having a bracelet or a ring or maybe a stone in your pocket, something like a grounding tool. And, you can just like touch a bracelet and just you can play it forward. Like, well, how do I really want to feel tomorrow? Or ask yourself, what other thoughts can I have right now? Like, why do I want to be alcohol free? Like if you get really strong with your why and why you're even doing this, maybe it's for health reasons or just really get grounded with the full intention of how you want to show up at this party. Most, when I ask my clients, like, how do you want to show up for Halloween or for Thanksgiving or for Christmas or at a party? And oftentimes I hear the same sorts of things. I want to be present. I want to connect, and I want to just feel calm. Like that's like almost this is the same things almost everybody says, like those three things. And then the next question, well, what's alcohol going to do? And it's going to disconnect. It makes you feel like you start to just think about alcohol. Once you have one glass or one even sip for me, then I start thinking about it. Where can I have my second glass and my third glass? and you're not present, and you're just in that, spiral again. So yeah, these are things that you can really think about before too. Like, what are your intentions for this party? Just really maybe even in the parking lot before you go in to your work party or your holiday party or your family party. And you're just like, what is my intention? How do I want to feel? How do I want to put my head on the pillow? Yeah. So those are some go-tos. Yeah. What about you, Susan? Like when people start to get sloppy and buzzed and maybe they're, like repeating themselves or acting a little odd, what do you do? How do you handle it?
Sometimes I get annoyed, but I just laugh at them, honestly. Or, just I don't know, like it doesn't happen that often. I don't really have a lot of friends and people that get super drunk around me, but yeah, I mean, it gets annoying. I do. And I have to check that as well, because that annoyance can also fuel, that F it button, right? Like, so again, go outside. You can choose to leave if that's your cue. Like, okay. Or I just sort of play into it and go, okay, we're all playing a game, like if it's a holiday, my family, we all play games. And I'm like, okay, I'm doubled down. I'm going to double down and beat y'all because I'm the one that has my brain working. Or
I love that, Susan.
Yeah. Or I just to observe though, too, that's a tactic that we sometimes use is just go, oh yeah, huh. Yeah, I guess that used to be me. I'm glad I don't do that anymore. Like really just observing and going, yeah. And so that I think is, and like we've talked before on some podcasts too, is we feel worried for you, too, like, right? So that comes up too, like, well, making sure people don't drive, like helping people going, hey, maybe you should Uber, let me get you an Uber, some taking care of some of those people.
Yeah.
How about you, Ruby? Because that's
what I've discovered over the years is I really love to arrive early and leave early. It's just because that last hour or two of a party where people have drank too much. Well, first of all, they're not even going to remember. Like I didn't remember. They're not going to remember if you left early. Necessarily, you're not missing anything because they're repeating themselves. So you probably already heard the story. Yeah. If you arrive fresh, early, hopefully people haven't started drinking too much yet. Although there's the pre-gamers, right? But like usually you can have some pretty good conversations for the first hour or two. But I honestly, you just mentioned getting scared. I just was thinking back to a holiday party last year, and one of my cousins got so drunk. I was just so scared for him. He literally was like leaning on, like falling over. And like, I was so scared. I wanted to make sure he was safe. So I love the idea of, making sure people get home okay. Who's driving? Hey, cousin, who's driving? Were you driving? You want to spend the night? I also like just observing others. So when we talked about fear of missing out, that's where you can really get to the joy of missing out. Like, thank God that's not me, right? I remember that. Well, it used to be me. If you see someone like getting all sloppy crying or, that too. Everybody's like a different type of drunk. And some people are not, or don't even get that drunk or show it. But people's personalities can totally change. They can get mean or they can get sloppy, or they can get poor me, pity me and crying in the corner. Or I'm laughing because that was me. I was more of started to like get negative thought cycles. I'd be at a party and like, maybe I'd notice, oh, it looks like everybody has a partner and maybe I'm single. And then I start getting in my head. So that is something that really can happen, where you can start getting in your head too when you have an alcohol-free holiday. You start. And so my tool for that is to like ask questions. Right before a party, I like put my favorite questions down, like in my phone or just in my memory, and just really fun, lighthearted, open-ended questions like, what was your favorite holiday this past year? Or, what are you looking forward to in 2026? Or what's a book you read? Or it depends on the person, but just something to like get them talking, telling stories, and yeah.
Yeah. Well, one thing I wanted to bring up, because this is what I work with my clients a lot, is the dreaded spouse's holiday party. So it's not your holiday party, it's your spouse's. And a lot of people that I work with are like, how am I going to get through this party? And like the only thing that they would look forward to at the party is drinking to get through it. Drinking as the only part of the enjoyment of the party. And so I've done a lot of work with clients around that. And your tactic of good questions is a great one. And the one that I always start with, I have a 5-step holiday thrive workbook. And the first step is to make a micro commitment. You maybe have a commitment to staying alcohol free for now. Not forever, but for now, you're on this journey. And so making that micro commitment of, just like, again, saying I'm committing to doing this, and just doing that mindset work. And then thinking about what else is there to enjoy at the party besides the alcohol, and also your role. Number one, do you have to go? And if you feel like it's really making a choice to go, if that makes sense, instead of just dragging yourself there, like, I have to go to this. It's like, do you really have to go to this? Or are you choosing because I am supporting my spouse and it's important? And then it's almost like a job in a way, like you're there to support your spouse. You're there. What is your purpose? And is it to, bond with the boss's wife, or just make a connection with someone, or look, be there to support your husband. And so how can you support him, and ask him, what would be the best way for me to support you? Who are you trying to connect with? Who are you networking with? And see it as, have a purpose for your being there. Again, what else can you look forward to? Usually at these things, there's maybe some good food or some fun desserts. So, pick something that you're looking forward to. And I think that that's really important. The choosing, that you're choosing to go for a purpose versus I have to do this stupid thing.
Yeah. And I'm thinking too, like last holiday season, yes, I remember coaching around this with every single one of my clients. And like, I think another really good thing to think about is maybe just having one buddy. You're at your spouse's work party and maybe you don't know a lot of people, but maybe there's one person you can buddy up with, sit next to, even share with them that you're going to be alcohol free tonight if that feels comfortable for you. So that you have an ally. And that worked really well for this one client because she was able to just have a new best friend, and someone that actually she didn't really like that much in the beginning. But by having these kinds of tools where she was asking lots of questions and just to get curious, she ended up befriending her as someone that she didn't really like before, but she always just drank around her. So it's be open, like have openness, like maybe this can be different, and it will be different. If you've always drank at work parties and, holiday parties, it will be different, alcohol free. And it might be a little awkward at first. We call it friggin' first times, FFTs, because the first time it can be a little awkward, like I said, or you might be in your head a lot. You might need to go use the restroom every 20 minutes, if you're having a lot of urges or cravings. So you just got to use the restroom again or go outside. But it gets better, and you gotta try for the first time and then see what it's like. And then afterwards, kind of maybe you can, if you have a coach, you can work through it. Like what worked well and what could be what was it challenging and how could it be different next time? And the next time you have a work party or a holiday party, it gets better. And then it gets better because you've done it. So the first time is kind of it's a big milestone, as we call it. Yeah. And then,
Yeah. And using that experimental mindset, because it's like, you can drink next year at your holiday party if you want to. So why not just try one? Usually that really helps clients go, oh, yeah, this isn't like forever. I'm never going to drink again at a party. Let's just try one, take it one thing at a time and see what happens. And that curiosity and that experimental mindset really does change everything. It really does. And even changing your mindset, let's see how much fun I can have at a party without drinking. But I wanted to mention something when you said something about a bracelet or a ring. I had on Etsy a bracelet, like a mantra band made for me that said, play it forward. And I would wear that to events. And then I could just look down at my bracelet and said, play it forward. And I'm like, yep, play it forward. If I have one, it's going to lead to 3. It's going to lead to me being disappointed with myself in the morning. And so that was a great reminder. But like you said, a stone in your pocket, something that you can fiddle with, it just reminds you of the commitment you've made, going back to that commitment ahead of time. Because if you go in with a maybe, the maybe turns into a yes for sure. Yeah. Like, I don't know, I'll see how I feel. Well, how do you think you're going to feel? If you really do have to make that firm commitment ahead of time, especially if it's your friggin' first time, FFT. And know that it might be a teeny bit uncomfortable, but you can do hard things. But it's uncomfortable either way. So going back to that too, it's uncomfortable if you do drink, because the next day you're going to be disappointed in yourself. You might have a hangover. So it's hard either way. So you get to choose your hard, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So if we could distill it down, Susan, to your top 3 kind of tactics, what would you say? And then I'll do mine after. You go first, though. Like, what top 3 or 3 things that you think, you could support someone? Like if a friend were to say, hey, I'm nervous about my first holiday, alcohol-free holiday party, what would you suggest?
Make the firm commitment, have a plan, plan what you're going to drink and what you're going to say. We've talked about this before, just going in with knowing what you're going to drink, what you're going to say, and the mindset of looking, we call it our reticular activation system, our little GPS, our little radar, and I'm making like a little radar, a little like radar sign on the top of my head is your mindset of not how am I going to get through this, but how much fun can I have, or how much enjoyment can I have? What is there to enjoy here besides alcohol? So those would be the top 3.
So same, like prep ahead, like what is my intention, and just really getting solid with, and even declaring, you can declare, I will not drink alcohol tonight. Like make that firm commitment. And then same, but have that alcohol-free beverage in your hand as fast as you can and grip it all night. So no one's going to ask you, hey, do you want a glass of wine? Or, hey, you don't have a beverage in your hand. So there's less opportunity. You're just like, I'm good. I got my drink, And then I think the third thing that's really important for me is have a getaway plan. Like I drive myself, or if you have a friend or a spouse that you're going with, like let them know, hey, we might be leaving a little early. If people are acting too crazy and I'm feeling too, or have too many urges or triggered, if you drive with someone or drive alone so that you can leave whenever you can. I'm super kind to my host or hostess. I'll say, thank you so much. I have an early day tomorrow, whatever you need to say. Sometimes I say little white lies. I will but it's fine. Like I have an early morning tomorrow, or I need to get to bed early. Something is important tomorrow. But sometimes you don't even have to say anything, you guys. The more you explain, the more it just gotta go. Thank you so much. Have fun, everyone. And then just slip out the back. I call it an Irish exit. I definitely say goodbye to the host and hostess, but maybe I don't do the big goodbye to every single person. And especially if they're already drunk. I mean, they're not going to remember.
Yeah. You make such a good point, especially about a spouse having a signal, like when I kick you under the table, that means I'm ready to leave. That's so mean, but
a word
planning in
maybe.
advance. Yeah, planning in advance. Like when I wink, it's time to go. Or if you know that you really want to stay longer, and I may want to leave, like I'm going to drive home, you Uber home, or an agreement. Your spouse is on board, hopefully with your alcohol-free journey, and you can just say, when I'm ready to go, I'm going to give you the signal, and would you agree to go at that time? Or the backup is, I'm going to go and you Uber, and like plan that in advance so it's not all awkward. And hashtag vanish. I love that.
Hashtag vanish. Yeah, Irish accent. Bye. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
So this has been so great. I love talking with you and just helping others. And this is such an important topic, holiday parties, because it is awkward. It's a thing, you guys. This is a thing. So I'm glad we brought this up. But we are at the time in our episode where we talk about just feeling lit. Feeling lit, alcohol free. So what's something in your life, Susan, that you'd like to share with our listeners, that's lit?
Yeah, well, I don't think I've shared this yet, but one of the things that I learned through Jolene Park, and I have definitely tried and offered to clients, is eating beans. And everyone's like, beans? And it's called the Bean Protocol. And it was designed by Karen Hurd at a time when her daughter had like 18 months old or very young, and she was having a toxic response to some sort of carpet cleaner or something. And the doctors were like, well, there's nothing we can do. And she was a scientist, and she came up with this, that beans can pull the toxins out of your liver and detoxify your body. And so it's also called the quiet diet. Like, it really calms your nervous system, because what can happen in your body is when we have excess hormones, is our body's elimination process is elimination. Wink, wink. is we eliminate things through our digestive system. But if we're not eliminating those things, then they recycle through our liver. And so any kind of medications we're taking, alcohol, when we're newly alcohol free, and hormones recycle through our liver, right? But beans are a source of soluble fiber, and they bind to the toxins in our bile, which is the byproduct of our liver, and help pull the toxins out of the body. And so it rids the body of toxins, keeping them from recycling back through the system. So it can help also, it can also help with sugar and alcohol cravings, because it's a source of protein. And again, it just quiets your nervous system. And so I've tried this at various times in my life, and I'm going to be trying it again because I am going off of the SSRI that I've been on forever. And I just feel like it's time. And so I'm going to be using the Bean Protocol to help pull some of those toxins from the detoxing from the SSRI out of my body. And you will notice, at least I noticed, I just felt calmer overall. And you don't have to go crazy. You don't have to actually do the exact diet. Like if you go on her website, there's an exact Bean Protocol diet, but you can, to just clean your bile and just clean your liver. You can just add, starting with a few tablespoons of beans with every meal, increasing up to about 1/4 cup 3 times a day. Okay. And just see what you notice. That's what Jolene always says, and in our coaching and when we trained with her, is we try different things and just see what you notice. And maybe this is the thing for you, maybe it isn't, but I know it's worked for me to help really calm my nervous system, to help me just feel more grounded overall. And you will notice clearer skin because it's binding some of the excess hormones. So if you're going through perimenopause or menopause, it can be really helpful when your hormones are all over the place. And I did this with a group of other women at one point, and we were all talking like, how come we don't hear more about this? This is such a natural way. And it's because, well, guess what? Beans are cheap. Nobody's making money off of this bean diet, right? And so, because it's, how much is a can of beans? 99 cents, on sale. But this is a super cheap cheap, super easy way to add fiber to your diet, to, to clean your bile and see if you notice that you feel calmer.
I love it.
Yeah.
So what made me think of that silly song, beans, beans, the musical fruit. The more you eat, the more you toot. The more you toot, the better you feel. So eat your beans at every meal.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, the tooting part is the toxins coming out. And so as you continue with the bean protocol, you will find that you don't toot as much. But in the beginning, it is like, yes, everyone stay clear.
Well, I used to love beans. And this is interesting. When I got pregnant with my son, I was unable to eat beans afterwards. And I try really hard. I'll introduce it, but my stomach literally is in so much pain. It's not, I don't even know if it's gas. It's just like severe pain, even if I just have a few beans. So unfortunately, this protocol may not be for me. But you know what I might try? And I like that you said this, but like a tablespoon and then maybe for a whole week. And then maybe increase it, because I used to love beans so much. And it's just, for my son's 27, and for 27 years, I have not been able to have beans.
Wow.
So I'm glad you brought this up.
Well, the alternate to the beans is psyllium husk. So you can get psyllium husk, and that is also a soluble fiber, which will help bind to toxins in your bile. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Because not everybody can have beans.
And not everybody likes beans. So usually that's the first question is, do you have a problem with beans? And, I'm not going to offer that to a client who's like, I hate beans, but it is something to try. And again, you try it, see what you notice, try it for a couple weeks or a week, and just see what you notice. And I remember when I was working with Jolene, I was like, wow, I just feel settled and quieter. And she goes, yeah, they call it the quiet diet for that. It just kind of quiets down your nervous system naturally. So, yeah.
I think what I would do is start with whatever is the least gaseous type, or, that might cause pain. And just a tiny bit, like you said, like a tablespoon with each meal or something. I'm gonna give it a try and see what happens. Maybe, you never know. Bodies can change, and like maybe I can have beans now. So let me try it.
Yeah. I like black beans. Black beans, the little tiny black beans, seem to work the best for me as far as gas and reaction. Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe start with those.
Maybe you don't want to eat tons of beans before your holiday party, but. Maybe not. Do it gradually, because the more you toot, it can happen.
Yes, but that might just keep people away from you naturally.
All right. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you all have wonderful holiday parties and work parties, and that this information was helpful for you. Please let us know. Send us an email or, comment and let us know how your first work party went, or first holiday party. We have an online group. We have a group on Facebook that's it's private, but it's a little more, it's Facebook. We also have an off Facebook super private group on Band, but just let us know if you want to join that, either one. All right.
Well, I just want to make a point too, is like when you were talking about a buddy, like you may not feel like you can have a buddy at your work party, but you can have an online buddy. So that's a good point. You join a group, you post in there, I'm going to my work party, I need a buddy. And, you get support there. Like then you can go in the bathroom and like get onto your online group and go, SOS, and one of us will respond to give you some support. And the other thing is Ruby and I both are going to put links to our workbooks about how to prepare for holiday events. So if you want some more resources, check the show notes and click on one of those links and get some free stuff.
Free stuff. Yes.
Yay.
Okay. Then we can be with you. We'll be arm in arm at your holiday party.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for listening. Have a great holiday. We'll be back next week with more holiday tips. All right. Bye.
Bye. Thanks so much for listening to the Sober and Lit podcast.
If you enjoyed this episode, we would love it if you would subscribe, rate, and review. It really helps get the word out.
And remember, do something today to help you feel lit.
See you next week.